Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Rifat Larayir from the Islamic University of Gaza. In this summer term, I'm teaching you Grammar 2, which is an advanced course on English grammar, on advanced English structure and grammar. The course focuses basically on sentence structure, sentence type, phrases, clauses, reduction, reducing clauses to phrases, and things related to subject-verb agreement in order to help us understand English profoundly and write correctly. The course is based, or textbook actually is Understanding and Using English Grammar by Betty Azar, fifth edition. This is my first class. In this class, I'm going to distinguish between the phrase and the clause in English. Now, uh, you should know that in order to be able to write well, to write effectively and correctly, you need to distinguish between two significant things about the sentences we write in order to write correctly. Because usually understanding comes first, and that's why our book is called Understanding and Using English Grammar. If you understand well, you can write correctly and even effectively. So, a phrase which can be translated into ibara into Arabic in Arabic is a group of words with no verb. So that's the basic thing, a group of verbless words. The fact that this uh, group of words does not have a verb makes it a phrase. And usually the phrase doesn't have, not, basically it doesn't have a grammatical function. It usually adds more information. It makes your speaking, your writing more vivid, more accurate, more concrete. You could say, for example, the man stole the book, but you can be more specific when you say the man in red stole the book. So in red is a phrase. It adds more information. It doesn't have a verb. These are examples of phrases. Walking along the road. Notice that walking and to walk are not verbs. In the morning is also another phrase. A bar of soap, survival of the fittest is also yet another phrase. More examples of phrases: best friends, needing help, with a blue shirt. So you say the man with the blue shirt or in the blue shirt for 20 years, he's been studying English. Basically, the sentence stands alone. He's been studying English. But when you add for 20 days or for 20 years, you add more specific information. You make your speech, your writing clearer. Now, on the other hand, a clause is a word or a group of words, usually, with at least one verb. And sometimes we translate a clause uh, into jumla in Arabic. So the basic issue here, the difference is that a phrase has no verb, a clause does have a verb. Now, there are two basic types of clauses in the English language. Actually, there are basically the only two types of clauses in the English language. Type number one is the main clause, or sometimes called the independent clause, which again has a verb, both actually the dependent, the independent, the subordinate uh, clause, they all have verbs. But the thing is that the main clause, as the name suggests, the independent clause, again, as the name suggests, is independent. It can stand alone. It gives a full meaning, a full thought by itself. It doesn't need the help of anything. Look at these three examples. I study English. It gives information. You know something. Study is the verb. I'm preparing myself to do the SAT exam or the IELTS or the TOEFL exam. So am preparing is the verb here, present continuous, regardless of the tense. A verb, a finite verb like go, goes, went, have gone, has gone, had gone, is going, am going, was going, were going, will be gone, will have gone, etc. But notice, if you compare this, I am preparing myself to something I mentioned before, needing help. Needing help, also walking along. Walking along here is not a verb. Walking is not a verb. Needing is not a verb. You don't say, I needing help. It's wrong. You say, I need help, or I'm needing help, basically. It's not accurate, but it's still better than saying I needing help, because I needing help is wrong. I'm preparing myself for myself to do the SAT exam. My friends visit me on Fridays. Visit is the verb here. Subordinate or subordinate or dependent clauses are clauses that have verbs, but they don't give a full thought. They don't have a full meaning. I'll show you why in a bit. Now, there's an interesting thing I once heard from an American teacher. She described the main or independent clauses as mother clauses, because mothers can stand alone. They can go out, they can go to the shops, they can go for a walk, they can take good care of themselves and the family. And subordinate dependent clauses as baby clauses, because they can't go alone to the shops, they can't cook, they can't sometimes take good care of themselves. So the subordinate, the sub means something that follows something else, like when you say heading, subheading, title, subtitle. The dependent clause is a clause that does not give a full, the dependent doesn't give a full thought, because it depends on something else in its meaning. Now look at this. Because he was absent, okay? If somebody tells you, because he was absent, and doesn't continue, you're going like, okay, what happened to him? What's next? What happened next? Now here, what makes this a subordinate dependent baby clause is the subordinator, the word because, the connector here, the subordinator. You can fix this in two ways. Number one, because can be deleted. So you say he was absent. It gives a full thought now. Or if this is a baby, you bring the mother. Because he was sick, comma, optional comma. Because he was sick, he missed the exam. The teacher didn't give him bonus marks. The man who was carrying the baby, okay, there's no clear idea here, okay? So the man who was carrying the baby is a dependent clause, because it doesn't give a full thought, because you still wait for an idea. Okay, who's this man? What happened to him? What was he doing? The man who was carrying the baby, you can again fix this in two ways. You delete who, which is a subordinator here, relative pronoun. The man was carrying the baby, and that's it. You get it. You get the idea. Or the man who was carrying the baby is my cousin, is the baby's father. When you come to class late, okay, what's going to happen to me? It's not clear here. So when you say, when you come to class late, when you say, when you come to class late, again, doesn't give a full thought, because something is missing here. When you come to class late, it's like a conditional thing. What happened? What's going to happen? Okay, you can again fix this by deleting the subordinator. You come to class late as a fact, or you add a main clause like the one in the first category here. When you come to class late, you lose marks. When you come to class late, uh, you make noise, or you don't give a good impression about yourself. These are like now there's an important thing here. These in academic writing, these three sentences here, clauses, sorry, not sentences, are grammatically wrong. If I ask you in the exam to fix these, I just gave you two ways to fix them. He was absent, the man was carrying the baby, you come to class late. Or because he was absent, the student missed the exam. The man who was carrying the baby is my cousin. When you come to class, you make noise. Or when you come to class late, please don't make noise. Clauses again, dependent clauses, still more examples here. Although she's hungry, by the way, even if some of these dependent or subordinate clauses could, even if they have a meaning in Arabic, in your language, in your mother language, mother tongue, still in English they are wrong. And we'll see later on, sometimes if you say, but she is hungry, it's correct, even if but and although have the same meaning. Something very interesting we'll talk about in detail. Uh, uh, so although she is hungry is still dependent and doesn't give a full thought. Whatever they decide, also incomplete thought. So dependent clauses. Now in academic writing, dependent clauses are fragments, and therefore they are wrong. Probably we can talk about how in creative writing some of them can be acceptable, but in academic writing in your exams they are not acceptable. So the first sentence, the writer seems angry, full stop, because he uses the word upset. This is wrong. You can fix it by saying the writer seems angry because he uses the word upset. Or you just full stop, you delete because. The writer seems angry, full stop, he uses the word upset. Or the writer seems angry, semicolon, he uses the word upset. Independent clauses, it again, give full thoughts. She will give him some of her food. I will agree to that. These are again uh, 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 images I grabbed from the internet to explain the difference between phrases and clauses. Now, phrases don't contain a subject and usually don't have a predicate, خبر يعني, meaning, a thought. Clauses contain a subject and a predicate. Of course, sometimes the subject in the sentence, in the clause, is implied when you tell somebody, stop. This is a full sentence because it's an imperative form. In imperative forms, you delete the subject. Phrases can't convey a complete thought. Clauses can sometimes convey a complete thought. Here it says sometimes because we know that dependent clauses cannot convey complete thoughts. Phrases can't stand alone. Independent clauses can stand alone. This is an exercise. In a heated summer, in a heated manner, no verb, it's a phrase. They were arguing in a heated manner. There is one. I intentionally didn't add a capital to the T or a full stop, so just to confuse you. But again, full thought, full sentences have to start with full stop with a capital letter and end with a full stop or question mark or an exclamation mark. The presentation of the new project, okay, there's no verb here. So this is a phrase. The team leader is giving the same presentation again. Is giving is the verb. The team leader is the subject. Full thought, it's a clause. The report consulted or the consulted report. Both of them actually are phrases because the first one is originally the report which was consulted or which is consulted. So it's still reduced. What happened to it? Okay, what about it? There's no predicate here. The report consulted was inaccurate. Or sometimes if you have a reduced phrase that is one word, you can bring it before the noun. A consulted report. What about it? Is inaccurate. The managers consulted the annual report. Consulted is the verb. Now, will leave soon. This could be tricky. Look at this. There's no subject here. In academic writing, this is wrong because it's not a question, it's not a statement. The correct sentence, to make it a clause, you say, I will leave soon. They will leave soon. And end it with a full stop. Or will you leave soon? Will they leave soon? Question mark. And it's but in this way, number 8 is a phrase. Sometimes pay attention in informal conversational English. When you chat, when you type on social media, somebody tells you, when are you heading to whatever, wherever you're going? So we'll leave soon. Can you do this or that? You say we'll see, but this is only informal. But number 9, on the other hand, leave soon. Leave is imperative, فعل أمر. So leave soon is a full sentence. It's a clause. I mean, clause. It gives the meaning. The subject is implied, which is you. Now I'll stop here. Probably we have an idea about what we're going to do next class. We'll talk about sentence types: simple, compound, and complex sentences. Some people like also to say that there is a fourth type of sentences, which is the compound complex sentences. But basically, this is our first session. I hope you enjoy the information and try to apply this properly. My advice is to be careful not to write sentences like this one here because it's wrong. It doesn't give a full thought. And also to use phrases accurately. Try to use them, but use them sparingly so you can be accurate rather than awkward and clumsy. Thank you very much. I'll stop here and see you soon.